Hello, and welcome to 5 Minute Math. Today, for our number talk, we are looking at these two decimals and trying to decide if the sum is going to be more or less than 11. Before we keep going, think about it for just a moment, come up with your answer, and then we will solve it together. So if we wanted to estimate this, because you notice we're not looking for an exact answer, so we can use some mental math here to try to figure out whether it's going to be more or less than 11. The first thing I'm thinking is, what if we were to round these each to the nearest whole number? So if I'm looking at the nearest whole number, right, I've got a 3 and a 6 sitting in those ones places. So really what I'm doing is I'm looking at the next digit over. So I'm looking at my tenths place, so it's 3.9, 6.8. And I'm trying to figure out, where does that 9 move the 3? Does it move it up to a 4? Or does it keep it at that 3? And if you wanted to think about these two boundary numbers between 3 and 4, where would 3.94 be? Well, that 9 is almost up to that 4. I mean, that's going to be like right there. So if I were to round this up, that 3.94 9/10 is really close to that next whole number. So I'm just going to think of this as a 4. And then let's look at that 6.83. And so that is between these two boundary numbers of 6 and 7. Right, so 6.83 is going to be not so far over as the 3.94, but that 8/10 is definitely closer to the 7 holes than the 6 holes because it's past that midpoint of 5. And so let's think of this as 7. All right, so 4 and 7, that makes 11 exactly. Doesn't help me because I need to know whether it's more than 11 or less than 11. But think about what I did with both of these numbers. In both of these numbers, I had to round up. It wasn't quite at that whole number. So let me show it to you on a number line if I were to do it like this. Okay, so here's a 0. Let's say I'm going to make a jump to 4. That's my first jump, right? So that's this first add-in right here. And then I'm going to make another jump, another 7, right? So I'm going to say plus 4, plus 7. That's what my estimate just did for me. And now I'm up at 11. But look at my actual numbers. 3.94 is not quite 4. 3 and 94 hundredths is really close. But if you look at it here, and let me change colors, it's going to be just a little bit short. So 3.94 is a little bit short, so I'm not quite at my 4. And then instead of that full 7 as my second add-in, I didn't get the full 7. It was 6 and 83 hundredths. So it's not quite a full 7, so I'm not going to get that full jump. So I'm going to get a little bit less than that 7. So you notice how on both of these, since I had to round up, I'm going to be a little bit short of 11 because I had to round both of those numbers up to get to that estimate of 11. So that little extra that I added, if you take that away, it's going to make it a little bit less than 11.